I got some questions on social media report results this past week, so I thought I'd talk about that a little bit. Paid social media advertising is a good strategy more in the short term. You know, we all know SEM is a long game. It's a long game play. You can't put an ad up today and expect to see results from it by tomorrow. That's just not the way SEM works. And you can't make changes every single month to SEM because that'll also make it not work. It won't have the results if you keep trying to tweak it every single day or every single week. You need to let it run for 30, 60, 90 days when you launch it, just to kind of see initial results, and then you can start making tweaks to it. But with regards to social paid advertising, I mean, that's a little bit quicker turnaround as far as trying to get engagement. But I really think that needs to be paired with a strong organic social media strategy. And I know those two things they are and they aren't interconnected. So if someone sees an ad for your store, you click on the ad, it's probably going to take them to the SRP page for that vehicle, or the service page, or the specials page, or something like that for your website. But I mean, how often, me personally, if I see an ad for a business, I'm probably going to go look up that business's social media page and see what kind of content they have on there. That's me. I know I shop differently than some people do, and I understand that, but I also think that I do a lot of things when I'm shopping that a lot of customers would do. Trying to see how many people have visited there, trying to look up reviews, trying to see how they reply to the reviews, if they reply to the reviews, things like that. So having a strong paid social media strategy and then no organic social media strategy, I think works against you more often than you think. So how do we kind of make those two things symbiotic with each other? So the paid social media strategy, that's the one that's advertising your vehicles or your services or your specials or all of the above. You'll have an AIA carousel for new, for used, for maybe a specific model you want to push. You add a video or a static intro card that shows off the rates or shows off a why-buy message, something like that, right? So that's pretty standard. And then you have service. You can have different services that your service department offers or parts department offers, or you have a collision center. You can have ads for your collision center in a carousel. That's taking care of your advertising. And what you're looking for in that is you're looking for a couple of different things. You're looking for frequency, engagement, and reach. So what do those things mean? So frequency is how often your ad is appearing in front of the average person that's online. And what I think is, before it gets annoying, is, and what most people talk about is like 4 and 5. I think 5's a little high. I'd like 3 and 4. I think that's before it gets annoying, but it's repetitive enough that it sticks in their head. I know people who like 5 and 6. That's fine. Everyone's got their number that they think works. I think, my personal opinion, I think 3 and 4 is where it's not annoying, but it's repetitive enough that it sticks in your head. Now, that being said, what kind of, we got to go back to engagement or reach. Engagement. How many times are people clicking the links? How many follows and shares do you have? How much engagement is that driving for your social media profile? So the number of followers is great, but if you have 15,000 followers, but your posts, your organic posts on your social media are getting maybe 1 like, 2 likes that are people that work at the store, you're not really getting any new eyeballs. And that's really the whole reason for social media. So driving up that engagement rate should really be key. So if your content isn't doing that, if you're putting out just ads on cars, if you're putting out static content like that, just repetitive, you're kind of just, you're checking a box. Yeah, I have social media organic content. Okay, well, and most consultants, most manufacturers will just be, oh yeah, he's doing social media content. that's great, but it's not getting an engagement. So like, what are you doing? Because it's obviously not working, and we need to kind of change that up. So when you're talking about reach, it's all right, how many people are you attracting to your content? How many people are you touching with this content? It's hard to describe reach, I guess, but that's how I would describe it. So, and where I was going when I stopped for engagement and reach, and lack of a reach description, engagement and frequency description, the amount of organic content that you post and the quality of that content matters. So I know stores that post every single day, maybe multiple times a day, because that's what they were told to do. And that's great, that's awesome, but what are you posting? So we all want to brag about, the algorithm shows you should be posting every day or 3 times a week or 3 times a day or whatever. That's awesome. But what are you posting content-wise? And when I ask that question, 9 times out of 10, I get a blank stare. And people are like, what do you mean, what am I posting? Well, yeah, just posting is great, but if you're not getting any engagement on the post, like follows, shares, comments, then what are you really posting? A lot of times we'll repurpose the tier 1 content on our page because that's on autopilot, right? We don't have to pay anybody to do that. Okay. Is that getting you any engagement at your tier 3 level though? Probably not. And then I've caught companies doing this. They have it's not horrible. They'll have a decent amount of content they're posting. It's very professional, very slick. It looks really good. But it'll have 15 likes, comments, shares every single post, or 18 or 20, or the number is very consistent. And what I found is they're having their own internal employees and or their families like, comment, and share the post. So you're kind of gaming the system when you do that, right? You're not really doing the job you were assigned to do, which is to get new eyeballs. You're actually just checking a box. You're phoning it in. You're just trying to get the paycheck and not really do any kind of service for the dealership. So what happens then? So you can find people, legit social media management companies, that will post quality content, that will post content that gets you engagement. But that's something, it's usually word of mouth. I've seen those companies out there, they do a phenomenal job at getting new eyeballs on your content, getting new eyeballs on your store, but they are ones that happen more by word of mouth than any industry or OEM backed kind of company. They're usually smaller companies, and they don't manage a ton of clients. They manage maybe under 100 typically. And they're local to you. That's the key part that a lot of people miss out on. I know of 0 national companies that do a legit fantastic job at bringing in massive engagement on social media for dealerships that are nationwide everywhere and don't have a local office. I know way more local companies in and around the states that I used to cover for consulting that did a phenomenal job at posting organic content for stores and getting more engagement, getting new eyeballs onto their content and onto their website. So you really, I hate to say this, but it is really a test and then test and then test and test again until you can find a company that can legitimately do that for you. If you're lucky enough to have the ability to pay someone to be internal to your store to do this, to add content, to do all the production costs that are involved in adding content to social media pages, that's fantastic. And that actually will get you the highest engagement and the highest amount of eyeballs of any of those strategies. But not everybody has that kind of payroll to do that kind of budget to do that. So I guess to wrap up, what I would suggest is find a local social media content building company. Ask around in local 20 groups, local dealer groups. Everybody knows everybody in the car business. I know you know someone who's used someone and didn't like them or did like them. And keep your sales posts to your paid media strategy. And keep your organic posts as engaging and value-added content. And I've spoken a bunch of times on what to post, when to post, how to post. So go back and look those up if you need tips. That's all I got for this week. Happy selling.